On 30 August, the 86th Airlift Wing and many of our mission partners are going to participate in the Air Force-directed Resiliency Tactical Pause. And this day is designed for all organizations across the Air Force to pause just for a few moments to get down to the airman level and understand some of the stressors in each one of our lives. But as the Chief and I have actually had a chance to sit down and discuss what this means, we actually realize that there are three different generations in the Air Force today. The first generation is the generation that the Chief and I joined, the post-Desert Storm but pre-9/11 world, where we had an opportunity to work on deterrence and think about the high-end fight, and then were thrust into leadership roles once 9/11 happened. The second generation of airmen today is the airmen that joined after 9/11, the surge of patriotism, the chance to serve your nation, and those are the folks that are serving in leadership roles today. And of course, that last generation that we have is the ones that joined after about 2012, where Iraq and Afghanistan really began to wind down. And we realized that the discussions that we now need to have on resiliency are a little bit different than, say, the ones that we started with when we joined the Air Force a while ago.
Teammates, if you're listening to this message and you're in that category of leader who enlisted or came into the Air Force post 9/11, recognize that you've got about 18 years of service roughly. The experiences that you had as a young airman, senior airman, staff and tech sergeant, they're unlike what our airmen are dealing with today. The challenges of deployment and where we were going, not the same. You know, the experiences that they're having in terms of what they're being expected to do and the active deterrence posture we face is unlike what you had to work through during your developmental years. So please don't make the mistake of thinking, hey, I wore that rank, I know exactly what that airman's dealing with because I was there. You were, but not in the same capacity with the same expectations. And if you're in that younger category with about 7 years of experience in the Air Force or less, recognize that it's difficult, if not near impossible, for us to relate with your experiences today. I ask you to help us, teach us. Help us understand what your Air Force experience is like under the circumstances that the commander just laid out. And that's what the 30th is all about, giving us an opportunity to have and start that discussion, but don't let that be the end of that conversation.
And when we think about this family gathering of all these three different generations, understand as we pause for a moment that this is the beginning of a discussion. Life overseas is different than any stateside location that you might have otherwise served at. But here in this family, we're going to begin a discussion. This isn't a one and done moment, and we look forward to getting feedback from the field as to what's working with our airmen as we tackle this resiliency challenge.